Hey everyone, it's Sunday right after Nebraska's big win over UTEP, 40-7, and this is going to be a different kind of video. You didn't even see an intro, and I'm trying to figure out why. Maybe you guys could help me why. But you would think after Nebraska won and looked really good. I mean, if you compare it to the last few years, it looked extraordinary. If you want to compare it to that, probably I think you guys would agree it looked probably better than we would wanted. I mean, hoped. If you think about it, if you were actually saying, "What do I want to see out of that game?" You got to see it. You saw Dylan Raiola be what looks like he's going to be. Remember, he's a 19-year-old true freshman. His very first game, and he looked pretty poised, looked decent. So he's going to do nothing but go up, get better. So life as a Husker fan is really on the upside, but for some reason, and it's been this way for a while, I just feel really depressed and down, and I don't know why. And for a long time, I thought it was maybe because Nebraska lost a lot. You got to remember, I grew up when Nebraska won all the time. I mean, Tom Osborne never lost more than 3 games, and he only did that a couple times. It was usually he only lost one or two. And then, of course, the '90s really looked good. I always wondered what would he have done if he'd stayed. But I wasn't used to all this losing. I wasn't used to not going to bowls. And so a lot of times I took it as that, and I'm a very emotional person, guys. I don't react a lot of times right away after loss because, not to spill out my problems, but I'll be in tears. That's how much this team means to me. Like I said, I'll pray. I made that remark in my video. I take some of the blame while Nebraska's down because you don't know how many times back in the '90s when just Tom just couldn't get over that one game where he could have won the national championship, like in '83, the '84 championship. Lost that 2-point conversion, and the Florida State where they really outplayed them and missed the kick. And I was sitting there in like Miami '94, with against Miami, and I was just praying, going, please give me this one. If you give me this one, we don't have to win again. I don't care. And I know we ended up winning the next year and then in '97 and be good, but ever since then we've kind of went downhill. And I've actually took the blame. I actually thought, was it because I asked for that? I've since then just begged, please, I didn't mean it that way. And hopefully it'll turn around. And I understand that for some of you it might sound stupid, might sound ridiculous. That's how I feel. But we ought to be excited with what we're seeing because you could be excited all the way around with what you saw with the blocking. I went back last night and watched the game, and our offensive line did really well. I understand people's going to say it's only UTEP, but you guys know here in the last few years, it hasn't mattered who it was. Georgia Southern came in here, moved the ball on us like we were a Pop Warner team, you know, and so I didn't. I'm not taking it that way. So you got to be excited, and we saw a lot of players. Y'all, a lot of young players got in there. I'm talking about players that won't even really be on the team. Actually they were actually on the practice squad right now. They're only on the practice squad. Rhule even said that he got all these in, and he knew this might be the only time he could reward their work, their hard work for help preparing the team. And so that's what he did. That's why you saw players on there. I even looked and went, man, who's that? And it was nice to see. But back then, when Tom was winning, that's how he had his teams always ready. That's why Matt Turman was able to come in and play, and we still won. He was a third string walk on quarterback. I guarantee you, every one of our quarterbacks right now are a lot better than Matt Turman. I'm telling you, I love Matt Turman. He's our own Rudy. If you want to talk about the movie Rudy, that's who Matt Turman is for us. So it's a lot of excitement to go and be ready for this year. And the Colorado game, you know, Colorado's not as bad as people think they are. I watched that game again. They did a lot of good things. Offensively, they're going to be tough. Defensively, we should be able to move the ball. And I'm hoping we can control the clock like we did against UTEP with Colorado. That's what we're going to need. We got to keep Sanders off the field. You're not going to keep Hunter off the field because he plays both sides. And I don't think you could double team Hunter. They got too many weapons. That Horn kid's just as good. Ain't he the fastest guy on that team? You can't leave. He's going to probably blow by people. So you're going to have to be ready for all of them. They got another one named Webster, I believe, Weber. They're talented. When it comes to their wide receivers, their quarterback, they're talented. Their running backs are decent. They're not great. And you already know the troubles with their offensive line. Man, they get any of that, and that would be a very dangerous team. They're a dangerous team anyway. They were kind of like Nebraska on the opposite side last year. We just had a decent offense, we'd have won. Well, if they just have a decent defense, they'll win. So how well they're going to do really depends how well their defense holds up. So not to get into the Colorado game, but I just wanted to tell you guys or ask, maybe someone knows. I know a lot of you probably know. Last year, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I went through cancer treatment. It's been about a year and a half, and I know a lot of that's, you know, has a lot to do. Maybe has something to do with it. Mainly when you get to my age, you start thinking a little more about, is this it? How long? I mean, I really can't put an answer on it. I woke up and I thought, Nebraska won. They won 40-7. When's the last time we saw that? And yet I feel this way to the point I don't know how to answer it. It was to the point I'm going, do I even get on here and say this? Because one thing people want to do, they want to make fun of you. They want to laugh at you. So what do? You're putting yourself out here vulnerable to say, hey, what do you guys think? And hoping that you don't get too many that are just being an ass, I guess you want to say. But I don't know what it is. Maybe it's nothing, but it's not how I feel. I feel like I just feel like I should be more excited and happy and be going, hey, because we saw a lot of good things. And that's what remarked me was we saw all our running backs run well. Name one that didn't. Now, Dowdell had that fumble, but it was only one, and he ran probably harder than anyone. I still like Dowdell over. I said in my previous video, Dowdell's moved up that depth chart, and don't be surprised by the end of the season, he's your number one back. Well, I think he almost proved that, but he's got to keep a hold of the ball. And yeah, it was one mistake, but as you know, we're to the point now we saw so many turnovers last year that any turnover at all is going to be magnified. And you guys know that. But we only had the one. When's the last time we only had one? When's the last time we were a positive? And I agree with Rhule. Let's just be positive. If we're +1 every game, we'd be excited. I would. You give me +1 every game. I'd almost take just being even. He said he don't want to see where we're +7 and 1, and next thing you know, you're -5. I want to just be +1. And the biggest way to be plus is take care of the football. Don't have any turnovers. Because the more you can eliminate that, then the odds are you're going to be in a plus. And then, of course, defense is to take the ball away. They took one away. I know they took two, but the other one was with backups and them kind of desperation of making a play. But I also agree with Rhule. I also think the safety ought to be a turnover. Why isn't that a turnover? You're turning the ball over. Not only are you turning the ball over, you're giving points while you turn the ball over. That to me is more of a turnover than a regular turnover, because you just sacked them in the end zone to the point now they can't continue. They got to kick to you. Plus, you get 2 points. That's a turnover. So to me, we were +2. And I think Rhule saw it that way, because he even said once they got that safety, he said, okay, now we're even. And I agree with you. That's a turnover. I know in the stat category, they don't consider it a turnover. That's a turnover, and it's maybe they'll change that. But you know what? Realistically, I don't care if they do. We see it as a turnover. I guarantee you, any of y'all think that's a turnover. So a lot of times coming on here, helping, talking about Nebraska helps me clear my mind and get my head out of it. So you guys kind of help me in that way. And that's the only reason I do these videos. One, I love talking about Nebraska, especially if they win. And this is where I feel my best is when I'm talking. The only time it gets depressed is I watch every channel. I watch Husker Online. I've been part of them for years. I'm signed up with Husker Online's website. I pay for a subscription. Um, and I watch Wilson, Corn Craze. I watch them all. To me, there's no competition. People say, "Oh, there's your competition." No, it's not. We all want to watch. You can't tell me you guys just watch one. You don't. You want to hear everybody's opinion, And so to me, the more there are, I don't care. I'll watch them all. Get new ones on there. I jump on and watch them. I like to hear what everybody has to say, and it makes me feel better. And so the only time it maybe gets depressing is when I put out a video and I hit nobody watching me, and then I watch some of the others that maybe hadn't even done it as long, and they're getting 2 or 3,000 people watching. I'm like, crap, what am I doing wrong? So I'm sure this ain't helping because not really talking a whole lot of Nebraska, but I wanted to get on here, say a little bit, see what you guys thought, and maybe talk a little Huskers because I'm excited for the season. I think now, what's our outlook now? I know everybody had their outlook about this team could go 7-5, 8-4, whatever. I know it's only one game, but it's still one more game we had before that. And if I'm being honest with myself, they looked better than I really thought they would. I know we hoped they looked better, and we always talked about, oh, they're going to be real good. But deep down in your head, you're going, heard this before. So when I saw mainly that first drive, tell me that wasn't a killer. 5 minutes, 54 seconds, I believe it was. That kills momentum on the other side. They hadn't even taken the field because when are you the most excited and fired up? That's when you first get out there. So they'd have got the ball right away. They might have went straight down and scored. They're fired up, ready to play. But they got to sit on the bench on the offense, and they sat there and got calmed down. The adrenaline started calming down. Plus, on top of that, we drove straight down and scored a touchdown. That'd be a little demoralizing. Then they come in here and go 3 and out. So we gave them a little boost, a little hope when we missed that 4th down. And then right after that 3 plays, they scored a touchdown. That probably gave them a little more momentum. But we responded well. And again, I know everybody's saying it's UTEP. UTEP's not as bad as you think. They're not as bad as we made them look, and you're going to see that throughout the season. Scotty Walden's going to have them up. I'm going to tell you that right now. And they're just learning. So we got them at the right time, game 1. So learning as like it was ours last year. And theirs is more than ours. Rhule came in here with a pretty established roster. They didn't. They're bringing in transfers and playing a lot of freshmen. He played 16 freshmen yesterday. So they're going to be adept. So we kind of got them at the right time. But no matter what, to see us, the depth chart, like I saw all the backup offensive linemen in there. I saw Sledge out there. I saw who is it? Piper, not Piper. I went blank. We saw a couple of the freshmen out there on the offensive line, and they did well. They still moved. They moved the ball. Good running. We saw Mazuka. What was that? The 4th or 5th? The 5th string running back. You got the first 4. Then you got Mazuka. So, and he ran well. He always runs hard. He's like his big brother. So it was good to see not only the win, but to see the backups. And I hope we get more of them. Hopefully it'd be nice to get that in the Colorado game, but I don't expect that. Expect it to be a close game. And the good thing is it's at home. So, guys, I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate you guys listening to me if you did listen to me. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. Maybe give it a thumbs up. Help get it out. Maybe there's someone out there that knows what I could do, or maybe they have a solution, or maybe they know what it is. But I know talking Nebraska helps me out a little bit, so that's why I thought I'd jump on here and talk a little bit about it. So don't mean to give you all my problems, but Thank you guys for being here for me. The ones that are, thank you very much, and go Big Red.